Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. We are going to discuss lesson 11 from the lesson of Mark. Lesson 11 says taken and tried. We begin with the introduction part where we see the key text from the book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 36. Here we recognize or we learn about Jesus who was praying that Father, everything is possible to you. Nothing is impossible to God. And therefore, Jesus says, if possible, therefore, take this cup out of me, if it is your will. So we can see that Jesus, first of all, that recognizes that may God's will happen in the situation that he was. In this week lesson, we are going to learn more on chapter 14 of the book of Mark. We are going to learn some of the situations which Jesus says will be unforgettable. We'll be able to learn how the Last Supper, how the religious leaders were able to arrest Jesus, and many more things. We can see even they call them Pilato or Pilate, who was trying to interrogate Jesus on some questions at the end on Thursday part. So let's begin on Sunday part, which the topic says unforgettable. Here we read from the book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 1. And we meet a lady who comes with a flask that has well and begins to pour the well onto Jesus' feet. Where as he was pouring, he still wipes Jesus' feet with her own hair, and the people around, they're so, what can I say? They are so irritated with the action, and they feel that the well cost a lot. But Jesus appreciates and says that, you see, this woman is doing something that is unforgettable. About the well, how costly it is, even wiping her feet with her own hair, it's unforgettable, and says that the gospel, the situation that, or maybe whatever this woman did to Jesus will be unforgettable. It will be a gospel that will be preached. And we can see in so many gospel books, we learn about this woman who poured the well onto Jesus' feet and began to wipe them with her own hair. We also see the second story of Judas. Here we are told it is also unforgettable how Judas betrayed Jesus and so many others. So it's still unforgettable. On Monday part, we learn about the Last Supper. The topic says the Last Supper. So here we get Jesus who gives his disciples the bread and says to them that take this bread and share among you. This is my body. He still takes a cup of wine and gives to his disciples and says that take this cup and divide among you, that as in he shares wine with them and says that this is my blood. And we can see in this memorial moment that Jesus had with his disciples, he begins to predict about how the disciples will abandon him. And Jesus says that all his disciples will abandon him. And Peter he just raised up his heart and said that he will never abandon Jesus, he will be there for him. But we will see at the head, we all know that Peter denied Jesus. But we will see at the head on Wednesday part and Thursday part. So on the Tuesday part, the topic says Gethsemane, where Jesus went to pray with his disciples. We all know that when we are facing challenges, we need someone to support us. We need someone to be on our side. So Jesus, same way, he needed some support. So he took his disciples and went on Mount Olives to pray with them. When he goes there, he leaves the disciples to pray, and again he proceeds with John, James, and Andrew. He proceeds them onto the mountain, and he told his disciples that watch and keep on praying, for the trials are coming, the same way he says to us. So he went with John, Andrew, and James, and he left them at a distance still, and told them to watch and pray. Again, he went up. He's trying to be isolated and lonely to talk to the Father or our God. And he talks about now when we get in verse 36, when he is talking and recognizing that God, nothing is impossible to God, and therefore he asks God that if it's possible, then that he could remove the cup that was before him. But we all know Christ had to die for us so that we can be saved. And that's why now we are saved, and the devil has nothing to do with us. As long as we trust in Jesus, we have conquered everything. See, Jesus did everything for us, even dying for us. So we see Jesus kept on. He goes to his disciples. He just meets them asleep. And then he 3 times, the lesson becomes that 3 times Jesus went to his disciples and talking to them to keep on watch and pray. But at the head, the moment reached when Jesus was ready, where the disciples were not ready, since they didn't pray. So we have to pray to get ready for trials. So Jesus prayed, he was ready for trial, but the disciples, they didn't pray, they was just asleep, so they were not ready for the trial. That's the part says free or to live all free from Jesus. You live all free from Jesus. As Christians, we teach that you live whole and free to Jesus, not from Jesus. But this, we're getting the vice versa, that these disciples left everything and flee from Jesus. An example we are given on how Judas betrayed Jesus, that he had organized with these three leaders that the one I will kiss, that is the Jesus. So Judas did exactly as he had said, and he went and kissed Jesus to betray him, and he was arrested, of course. And here now is where we get a man, Peter, who was trying to who cut one of the chief priests. They are here, and Jesus took and healed the ear, and he told them that this was not a physical fight but a spiritual fight. So Peter, every disciple free from Jesus, he just left everything and free from Jesus. So Jesus was left alone. That's the part, but of course he was not left again alone. He was with God. I mean, God is there for us every moment. So, and that's the part we see, who are you? Who are you? That the topic says. And here we see now not the centurion, but the Pilate who was asking Jesus some questions, and he asked, are you king of Jews? And Jesus said, as you have said. So the lesson becomes that Jesus, it's not like he agreed on what he said, it's not that he disagreed, it's just there because he said, as you have said, because the king asked, are you king of Jews? And Jesus replies, as you have said. And here we can see that Jesus now affirms by saying this, saying that he now revealed himself, that he affirms that indeed he is the Son of God. Therefore, he is accused of blasphemy, and the chief priests now begin to say, what else do you want? The Bible records actually that the chief priest said, what witness else do you want that this man has agreed that He is the king of cherries. So they had nothing but to accuse Jesus because of blasphemy, that is claiming to be God, and Jesus was the Son of God. So at the same point, when Jesus is faithful and revealing the testimony that indeed he is king of cherries, as he was interrogated with some questions, at the other side, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Remember, he had said that he will never abandon Jesus, but we can see here Peter denied Jesus. He is asked by several people, like, and I saw you with Jesus. And he says, I even don't know Jesus. He's asked by another person, and he seems to be a follower of Jesus, but he says, I don't know him. So Peter denied Jesus for 3 times. And when he denied Jesus for 3 times, of course, as Jesus had predicted, the cock crowed, and Jesus looks on to Peter. When Jesus looked to Peter, Peter remembered whatever Jesus had predicted. Of course, he went and repented. We shall see that as the book of Mark progresses on verse 15, 16. And we shall see what happens from there. Now Jesus, on Thursday part, leaves us that Jesus is accused of blasphemy. What happens after he is accused? He is taken to Sanhedrin, to other courts, where we will meet what will happen after that. So let's meet for the next lesson to get what will happen to Jesus, the next phase. God bless you all.